It's funny how this image is applicable to other Star Wars games and not just Star Wars Unlimited. This came from Star Wars Battlefront, I understand. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Hello and welcome to an episode of Unlimited Power TCG. We're going over tournament results once again. It's been a few weeks since the last planetary qualifiers of Set 2. This weekend has been the OPE Birmingham tournament, Premier Release tournament for Twilight of the Republic Set 3, which I've been privileged to attend to. And I've got all the results for it. I've got links for all the breakdowns of who played who and where the results came from. And Decklists for all the top 8 we're going to go through in this video, as well as some of the metrics for what happened and what took place. I had a great time, met some great people, saw some very good friends, had a absolutely wonderful game of Twin Sons on Sunday. Thank you for the guys who took part in that with me. It was such fun to play with. It was a really, really good game. It's great fun. And during day one, I came in the top 25% of people, which is a lot better sounding than 48th place, but there was 201 people, so that was a lot of people. I won 5 games and lost 3 with my Anakin Blue deck, which was cunningly named Anyway the Wind Blues, because somebody once put me on to the value of punny names for your deck lists, because why not? Anyway, before we kick into that, we will go into the upcoming major UK events and dates slides I customarily have on these, because I like to encourage and show off what is going to be happening across the country for Star Wars Unlimited in the coming months. And what we've got is we're still waiting on the UK restock for Spark of Rebellion to hit. There's been word going around on Facebook and social media about the restock starting to hit the US. I'm not sure about other territories, so people are now asking when that's going to happen for the UK. The best word we've got so far is still holidays 2024, some point hopefully by the end of the year, maybe not too far after that. Once there is more information, it will be shared around and it will be known. You won't be able to miss it if you're anyway plugged into all the social media on the UK Star Wars Unlimited Facebook or Discord or any other places that we do. I'll probably announce it on our little community page on here when we do so, just to share the news. Anyway, below that, just on the weekend, I'm filming this on Sunday 24th. It's been a long weekend. I'm quite tired, so if this is completely rambly, weird, and strange and stuff, I do apologise. So yeah, that's greyed out because that's kind of been and gone now at this point. But we have had information on 10 planetary qualifiers level games for Set 3 Twilight of the Republic that are going to be taking place here in the UK. Those are the locations and dates on which they're going to be happening. Links to buy the tickets for the ones that I know as of time of filming have been included in the video descriptions below. So if you're interested in attending any of those, do please go and check the links out for them. And yeah, hopefully have a good time. There's been prizes and details announced for what you're going to be getting for those. Oh, there's the map with the geographical spread on where the 10 planetary qualifiers for the UK are going to be taking place. I believe the criteria was being able to host an event of 64 players or more, if I recall correctly. Everybody gets a copy of the Invisible Hand as participation card. The top 16, then top 8, then top 4, then top 2, then winner. Each get a Tranquility card for each of those brackets that they place in, as has previously happened. So if you go first place, you get 5 copies. 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Top 4 players get a special limited acrylic initiative token, as pictured in the middle there, and the winner gets the planetary qualifier champion mat with the Set 3 Twilight of the Republic key art, which is pretty tasty. And that's all we have for sight for tournaments for the UK for the future for the time being. We're still awaiting news on store showdowns. I understand they're still being finalised and news on those will be coming out soon. So again, keep an eye on the usual social media channels, and we'll publicise them as soon as we know. So yeah, let's start going into detail on how the OPE event in Manchester, that was the last one, in Birmingham went. Seriously, it's like less than 8 hours ago. I'm still losing details already. These are the prizes that they held for the major event, which was a 2-day tournament. They did 8 rounds of Swiss day 1, followed by the top 8 on day 2. Everybody who took part got 3 packs Twilight of the Republic for participating. Top 64 got a Grogu event exclusive card. Top 32 got the Grogu and 6 more packs of Twilight of the Republic. Then third and fourth place each got a box of boosters, and I've jumped now. I've skipped the top 8. The top 8 get, what's that, 6, 12, 12 boxes, no, not boxes, 12 booster packs, a Grogu event exclusive, and the Darth Vader Hyperspace event exclusive from the set 1 period. Third and fourth place got a High Ground mat, a box of 24 boosters, a Grogu, a Luke, and Vader Hyperspace Limiteds. Second place got the mat, 2 boxes of boosters, a Grogu, the Luke, the Vader, and a signed Grogu, signed by the game developers. And then first place got all of that above, a sealed case which is 6 boxes of boosters, the 2 Grogus, one of which is signed, the mat, the Luke and the Vader, and a fully paid flight to the first ever Galactic Championship being held in Las Vegas in the middle of next year. And it is not just the flight there, you do get the flight back. That was double checked and qualified, so the winner doesn't just get stranded in Vegas, which would be torturous, I'm sure. This was a metagame report and breakdown that OPE issued just after the start of the game, when they could get some metrics on what decks were represented. We'll go into a little bit more detail in that in a slide or two's time, but this is a lovely graphic visual representation that they had. That is number of decks using that leader that was represented in the tournament, which had 201 players. So we've seen quite a bit of change there, obviously, from set 2 with the suspension of set 1 Boba Fett. That has made for some interesting metagame dynamics and things that have happened. So let's dive into that in a little bit more detail. Represented across those 201 played decks, these are breakdowns of the leaders sorted by number of decks using that leader that were present. So Anakin, the new Anakin from set 3, was the most represented leader with 28 decks running that one, with just shy of 14% of the field being Anakin. Then you got Jango Fett just below that with 23 decks at 11.5%. Sabine was only 12, same as Cad Bane. So the massive surge that was predicted of Sabine, now that Boba was gone, did not materialise, and her market share shrunk, so to speak, as she's gone down to just below 6% of the represented metagame here, identical to the Cad Bane. And then a similar break, you've got Yoda and Bosk, then on down from there. So you can just take that in and read it as much as you wish to do so. Resorting that into win percentage, so you can see which leaders won the highest percentage of their games overall. This is no breakdown for colours, this is just based on leader. You can see there that Cad Bane had the highest win percentage of all represented decks. And there was obviously a reasonable amount of Cads present, so that's a good thing to see. So it's very difficult to say that Lando is one of the best performing decks in the metagame when there's only one Lando deck present at 201 players. But he did manage a 62% win rate, so props to the Lando player. Take that in and read it as much as you want. Absorb it, etc. There are 54 total leaders in the game. 2/3 of them were present at the OPE Birmingham tournament. 10 of them were from set 1, 13 from set 2, and 13 from set 3, which is quite an even spread, which I'm very happy with seeing. And I've dove a little bit more detail into the 2 most represented leaders there, just to show the breakdown of what bases were being run by each leader. So you can see the overwhelming majority of the Anakins were run as Anakin Blue, although decks were being run with all 4 aspect combinations, and Jango was likewise overwhelmingly represented as Jango Tarkintown, and there were no Jango Blue decks, which is not really surprising, really, because Jango Tarkintown was the one that was starting to come to prominence a couple of weeks ago, and Anakin Blue started to come to prominence a week ago. So yeah, that's the bandwagons that people, including myself, have jumped on and tried to make work. But to the actual tournament results themselves. The tournament was finally won by Pierre Lemasson, aka Thork, of Thork's Hot Takes on YouTube. A link to his channel is in the video description below. Do check it out. He's a good content creator, makes a lot of good stuff. He was playing Bosk, running Vigilance 30 hit point base in a very hard control deck. He beat Howie Williams in the final, who was also running a hard control deck using Palpatine, again the Vigilance 30 hit point base, in a very long match that was full of twists and turns. I'm hesitant to say drama, but there was a little bit of drama about it because the first game went relatively long, the second game went relatively long. Harry won the first one, Pierre won the second one. And then they had 10 minutes left to try and fit the third one in. And to their credit, both of them played as quick as they could without compromising on quality, so neither of them could or should be accused of slow paying for any kind of advantage whatsoever. It is just a shame, however, that the game wasn't decided to its natural conclusion, in my personal opinion, and ran to time and eventually was decided by the first criteria was deck hit points total, and they were both on 0 because they were hard controls, they were healing a lot. So the next tiebreak after that is which player had the initiative at the very last point of the game. So the game was decided because Pierre could take initiative and he engineered a situation where he could, and Harry couldn't. So that was a known win condition. It's not an unfair thing. It's how it took place. I just feel it is a shame that, for the sake of a final of a 200-player tournament where you've got paid flights to Vegas at stake for it, an exception can't be made just to let this one final game play out for another, I don't know, half an hour or so till it reaches its natural conclusion and the best player wins. Is where I'm feeling on this. So that's the thing. Hopefully FFG might be able to take this on board and adjust their tournament rules. I understand OPE have to abide by the rules that they're given, which is totally understandable and fair, but it's something to bear in mind, perhaps. Anyway, moving on. Off my soapbox now. Third place was Josh Yehosera Freeman Birch, who was running a Palpatine yellow deck, having, I understand, been inspired by facing Howie at Manchester 4 months ago, where the pair of them played in finals. Josh was running Boba Green, and Howie was running his Palpatine Vigilance back then. Josh has one-upped himself from running his controversial 54 card deck to running a 55 card deck. Ooh, yeah, there we go. There's some spice. Django Tarkentown took 4th place by Dave. I have no idea what any further name is involved in there, unfortunately, apart from the Dave underscore. That's all the details that are on Limitless that he's chosen to input. So, Dave, there we go. Congratulations, Dave. Congratulations, Josh, Howie, and obviously, and of course, to Thork for securing this prominent tournament win. 5th place, Sabine ECL. Was won by Al Sutton. Extremely well played. Al is top player. He's lovely bloke. Django Tarkentown took 6th place from Mikolai Wendowski. I hope I pronounced the surname correctly there. I did put a bit of research into Mikolai, so hopefully that's correct, and I do apologise if I've gotten it wrong. 7th place, Cad Tarkentown by Oliver Big O Notation Simons. There's a link to his channel in the description below, as well as Yehosera's articles, which he does. Generally speaking, Josh does those after most events that he's been to that I've seen so far, so it's worth keeping an eye on his Facebook. He does really good detailed write-ups of his deck, his matchups, why he does what he does, why he plays what he does. If you want to get some insights into a very highly skilled player, I strongly recommend looking at those. And rounding out the top 8 was a Spin Cunning deck run by Daniel Jackson. Congratulations, Al, Mikolai, Oliver, and Daniel. Extremely well played. To come anywhere near the top 8 out of 201 players is a massive feat of skill. One of these, I think it was Al's Sabine ECL, went undefeated in Swiss, going 8-0. 6 of the other 7 remaining players went 7-1, and one of the other remaining players went 6-2. So had to get through that through strengths of schedule inside the bubble, as they say. So yeah, congratulations to everybody for the job you did there. That's an extremely good achievement, and I'm sure all eyes will be upon you in the future for what you're going to be playing, what you're going to be doing, and influencing the meta for the country and maybe the rest of the world. So yeah, this was Dan Jackson's win record over the course of both days. Dan came 8th place with Sabine Yellow. You can see that he lost there to a Bosk deck played by Matt Guyver in the second round, and he won the rest of his games in there until he faced Thork in the top 8. And here is his deck list, his Sabine Yellow, what we're running in there. So we got We're capping out at 4 cost units, nothing higher than a 4 cost. Sabine and K2 at 4 costs. Then you got a whole load of 2 and 3 cost units. Liberated Slaves, 3/5/3 costs with a whole load of keywords, which I wouldn't imagine do very much really. Elite is obviously essentially a 2/2 shielded, just like Crafty Smuggler is 2/2 shielded. Everything else in there is a relatively standard looking Sabine deck card. You've got Sneak Attack in there, Daring Raid, and in the sideboard Ketsu. Controversial choice, but obviously Daniel knows what he's doing by including her. Controversial for being 2 hit point, 2-drop choice and relatively easy to kill. Clear the Field was something that looks like it can obviously easily be done to get rid of a Battle Droid spam or Clone Soldier token spam, as well as being a 2-cost bounce for a non-leader unit, which is fine. And yeah, there we go. There's a Sabine Yellow. Moving on there, we've got Oliver Big O Notation, 7th place. This was his win-loss record. He lost twice to Josh. Oh, dude, that must have been having lost to him on day 1 in round 7, and then facing him again for the first game of the top 8. That can't have been a particularly exciting thing to face. I'm prompted to say something here that refers to a little bit of drama that took place, not related to Oliver Simons at all in there, but excuse me. One of the players he faced there is a chap called Michael Silk, who was running Mace in a very innovative deck format. But there was a bit of drama that was reported and witnessed over the stream, where one of Mike's games he played on stream, or Silk as he's commonly known, he accidentally drew 3 cards rather than 2 because he was distracted at the time and he believed he was in a winning state of the game, which he was. The judge noticed and verified it. He drew 3 cards, and he's been widely accused of cheating online, which is incorrect. The judges have admitted that they were talking and distracted him at the time. They're happy that it didn't overly affect the game state, by all reports at least. I haven't spoken to the judge personally. This is the information that I've been given on the subject. And Silk was issued a warning, and the whole situation was moved on from. But so there's no drama in there as far as the game and the judges and the players were concerned, but there has been a lot of drama erupting over social media over accusations of cheating, deliberate cheating on Silk, which are unwarranted. It was a mistake, it was ruled as such, it was moved on from, and I would strongly request that anybody who is accusing him of cheating, please just reconsider that, because your facts seem to be wrong as far as I can tell so far. Anyway, Oliver's deck was running CAD. Oliver is an extremely skilled player. He plays a number of card games. His social media channel is, as I said, linked in the video description below. The deck that he was running is CAD Tarkintown. I've got a little bit of experience with CAD. Oh, pressed the wrong button there. With CAD Green rather than Tarkintown. However, he's obviously included 3 now. There are 2 of them. I'd be interested to know how many times he managed to get that trick off, but that's not something I've been able to find out, because obviously now there are 2 of them. Is the big, one of the big cards of the set, alongside Cad Bane, of which there's 3 of in there, and I'm not too sure how reliable now there are 2 of them actually is, but he's obviously included them and done very well with it, so props to Oliver. 2-0 the Huts at the sideboard as well, another interesting choice, and not something you see in every deck. Aside from that, you got your Bazines, you got your Bobas, Bamboozles for, I assume, dealing with it's very good for dealing with Charleston's. Got your McClunkies, capping out with Ruthless Raider, Zuckus, Forlom, Cad Bane. Yep, that seems like a relatively understandable Cad Bane yellow deck. So congratulations, Oliver. Very well done, well placed. 6th place, we had Mikolai. Mikolai Wendowski's running Django Fett. This was his path to victory and getting into the top 8. He lost in round 1 to Mr. Ollie Quinlan, who was running the Mandalorian, who obviously beat Mikolai, and then Mikolai went on to defeat every other opponent in the top 8, in the Swiss rounds, until he faced Howie's Palp Blue in the first round of the top 8 bracket. And this is the Django Fett deck Mikolai was running. What do we have in here? We have, Fire Spray, Ruthless Raider, Triple Dark Raid, No Good to Be Dead, Sneak Attack Surprise, Heavy. This is essentially, as I say, classic. The deck has been in prominence for all of 2 weeks at this point, but it is a generally accepted format for the Django Fett Tarkin Town build. You've got your Confederate Tri-Fire to prevent healing in the bottom for as long as it's alive. Change your heart, power for the late game. Yeah, disabling Fang Fighter for your upgrade hate. Yeah, solid. Damage, pinging, exhausting stuff. Moving on, Al Sutton, 5th place with his Sabine ECL deck. He was the only undefeated player through the 8 rounds of Swiss on day 1. And got knocked out by Dave, having already beaten Dave the day previous in the first rounds of the top 8. This was Al Sutton's deck, or you can call me Al, as his online handle is known as. There's the only set 3 card that has been added in to change this deck from Sabine's classic format is the inclusion of the 3 Admiral Yalarans as a 3-drop. For restore 1 is negligible, but the fact that he gives each other friendly unit +0/+1 is something that he told me is critical to the success he's had with this deck for popping Sabine up to 6 hit points, taking her out of takedown range, just messing with the combat math for things being able to easily take units down and control them is something that he says has given him a great deal of success in this. So props to you, Al. Spec Force. You're running 15 turn 1 plays in there. You've obviously dropped your fighters into the sideboard, timely in the sideboard. Ewing in the sideboard is not something you see often in Sabine, but he obviously feels he wants a little bit more late game play in there. And Darksaber in sideboard makes sense with the fears of Django going around and just tapping Sabine down very easily. But as he said, the Darksaber is very good into some other matchups, particularly the Mirror, amongst others. So that's enough to warrant an inclusion in Al's deck, and obviously he's performed very well with it. So congratulations, Al. Next up, we have Dave _ and his path. Dave was the sole member of the top 8 who went through with a 6-2 win record, so he performed the best out of all the players who went 6-2 in terms of opponent scores, win-loss record and so forth. He won his first game against Al's Speen Green, and then he lost to Howie in the top 4 round. And let's take a look at his deck, and his Django Tarkin Town deck, which is a few more cards than the last one. This one's running Van-based Flamethrower, which I assume you'd put on Django to shoot a few more units and tap them all down. You got a copy of Force Choke, you got a copy of Swoop Down, and then so he's basically broadened his main deck at the cost of not specialising the main deck configuration against any particular opponent, which is of course perfectly valid tactic for people to play with if that suits their playstyle. No CADs in the main, however. Only 2 copies of CAD in the sideboard. 1/7 drop in the main. 3 Fets, 3 Ruthless Raiders, 3 Triple Dark Raid. Yeah, he's got the solids in there. Of course he does. Congratulations. Very well done, Dave. This is Josh Freeman Birch Hasera, who went 7-1 in Swiss. This is his path to victory. The only game he lost in Swiss was against Al's Sabine ECL that we've just mentioned. He beat Oliver's CAD in the first round of the top 8, and then he lost to Pierre Thork in the top 4 and his Bosk Blue. Josh was running, I haven't counted this, somebody's told me it's 55 cards, I'm going to take their word for it. 55 card Palpatine yellow deck with a huge amount of stuff in there. 3 copies of Devastator, 10 drop, impressive. 5 7 drops in there, 3 8 drops, a whole supply of events. Every trick that you'd expect to see in a Palp yellow deck. Sideboard, you got 3 Palps returned, not in the main deck. 2 copies of CAD for some extra late game punch in 7. 3 copies of Unmasking the Conspiracy. Interesting to think about when he might sideboard that in and against what particular game plan. And Bounty Hunter Crew is known from set 1 for being a very good way of getting spent events back for the late game. So yeah, there we go. Stall, overpower. That's your Palp Yellow. Moving on, second place, Howie Williams was running Palpatine Blue that he piloted to also second place in Manchester 4 months ago. This was his route to victory, and then into the top 8. He went 7-1 in Swiss. He also lost to Owls Sabine ECL. And his only other loss was to Pierre Thorpe in the final, as I mentioned earlier. So there you have that. This was Howie's deck list. Howie has offered to come on the channel and talk through his deck and his game, so hopefully we'll be able to sort something out if there's interest in doing that for the future, and maybe get some insight into how he plays, what he wants to play, and how you might maybe get some insight into defeating his approach or defeating him if you ever get to face him. This is pretty classic hard control, frankly. There's maybe more units in there that you might see in a pure event-based deck, but there's a ton of events in there, of course, as you can see. You got your clone, you got your 1 copy restock, perilous position as a set 3 card added in. Any other set 3 cards added in? I don't see any, just on a quick scan. Perilous position. Oh, clone in the bottom, there we go. Perilous position and clone, those are the set 3 cards added in. Massive additions right there, but obviously Howie's an extremely skilled player, knows what he's doing, and has taken it to a really high level of success in the OPE Birmingham tournament. For those of you who might be interested in what you want to run or consider running or look at running if you want to defeat this sort of Palp Blue deck, this is the Palpatine's win-loss ratio. So these are the games that he has. There's quite a few games there's 100% win ratio because there's not been played very many of them against. This is not specifically Howie, this is all Palpatine decks present in the tournament this weekend. And at the bottom there you can see the games at which there are a lower win rate percentage. So a little bit of insight there for you as to what they either succeed very handily against perhaps, or maybe struggle against, although there's not really that much to see they struggle against apart from the known one of Sabine. But it's interesting that Anakin, the Palpatines only had a 38% win rate against, so there we go. Obviously Bosk and a couple of others. Yeah, interesting. Pierre Thorpe Lamasson, congratulations, you've taken down 201 player tournament run by Organised Play Events OPE in Birmingham. He's dropped 1 game throughout the whole day to Dave and his Django Fett. And this is the deck list he did it with. Is Bosk Blue, a extremely classic hard control deck there. Again, only the 1 copy of restock. Pershing, Client, Charlton, Palp, Snoke, Avenger, yeah, of course. Looking for set 3 cards that might have been added in. Perilous Position is the only set 3 card in the main deck that's been added in. It's the only set 3 card in all of them. Excuse me, that's been added in. The rest of it are all set 1 and 2 cards in there. So, yeah, there we go. Congratulations. Haven't played this kind of deck. Oh no, tell a lie, there's Merciless Contest in there as well. Yeah, that's a very annoying card. I played a couple of Bosk Blue decks myself over the space of the weekend, and at the right time, in the right place, that was an extremely troublesome card because they play it when they have no units and you have 1 and they die. So it's a 3-cost elimination card, essentially. Congratulations, Thorpe, very well done. For those of you who are looking to defeat or potentially defeat Bosk Blue in the future, this is the win-loss ratio for all Bosk decks throughout the events. You can see what Bosk has performed strongly against over the course of this event and what they have hopefully or perhaps performed less well against over the course of this event. So we're notably looking at Django, Kira in there, Han and Mace. interesting. A bit hard to say that he's weak to Hero Boba after only one game, but there you go. So, that is OPE Birmingham. Thank you very much for watching. As always, our whole likey, subscribey, share and comment stuff is all very much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed and found some value in the content that we've done here, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot. Cheers.